Doctor Who The Vampires of Venice, the 6th episode of Series 5, is written by Toby Whitehouse and starring Matt Smith, Karen Gillan and Arthur Darvill. So Toby originally planned an episode to set in some sort of labyrinth, but Stephen Moffat and Piers Wenger thought it would be too similar to other episodes. And his other original idea was pushed to Series 6, The God Complex, and he's asked to write a big, bold, romantic episode and set it anywhere on Earth. So Toby chose Venice because it's one of his favourite places on Earth. Great choice, and he believed that vampires are perfect fitting for Venice. The script was originally too long and some of it had to be cut, even some of them when they filmed it. So this episode opens with Guido presents his daughter Isabella to be enrolled for school in front of Rosanna and her son Francesco. So they said yes and Guido left. I thought it was creepy when Francesco and Rosanna walked around Isabella and Francesco showed his vampire teeth. Originally that was going to lead to title sequence, but the director of this episode, Johnny Campbell, thought it would work better if they pushed it after when the Doctor crashed Rory's stag party to make it fun. So there's Rory and his mates celebrating their wedding day, and we get a funny scene where the Doctor came out of the paper cake and tells Rory that Amy kissed him. Oops. So after the title sequence, Rory is in the TARDIS with Amy and the Doctor. Sadly, Rory didn't say it's bigger on the inside, which was something that the Doctor was looking forward to. So he asked them where would they like to go. So they ended up on Venice, 1580. Funny thing is, the Doctor mentioned Casanova, and there's a show called Casanova starring David Tennant as Casanova, produced by Russell T Davies and Julie Gardner. Meanwhile, Guido wanted to know where his daughter Isabella is, but he gets pushed by one of the vampire girls, and they walked off. The Doctor asks Guido what was going on, and he explains that something evil happens to the girls in the school, and Isabella didn't recognise him. Meanwhile, Rory is upset that the Doctor is right, but Amy gets him to enjoy their time on Venice, and he's mind blown on what year it is. So after the screaming, they notice that Francesco is a vampire who bit a flower girl to death, so they went after him and he's disappeared somewhere. While Guido tries to get the gods to let him in, the Doctor got himself inside. He went down to the cellar and looks at the mirror, and there's quite a few girls in white dresses asking him who he is. The Doctor accidentally showed them his library card with a photo of the first Doctor, William Hartnell. As the vampires went to approach the Doctor, he ran off and met up with Amy, and they both are excited that they met the vampires, and Rory warns them. So later on, the Doctor, Amy, Rory and Guido plans a way to get into the school to get Isabella out. So Rory and Amy pretended to be siblings so Amy gets to be in the school. While Rory gets sent out, Amy goes up the stairs with creepy girls lurking around. So she goes in the bedroom and meets Isabella, and she tells Amy about the dungeon where you get surgeon. While the Doctor and Rory sneaks in, I love the line where Rory was like, yours is bigger than mine, and the Doctor's like, let's not go there, when they're talking about the torchlight size. That's pretty amusing. So there's vampires coming after them. While Amy gets strapped onto the chair, she managed to damage Rosanna's perception filter as it reveals that they're not vampires, they're alien fish. Helen McCrory played Rosanna Calvieri, the leader of the vampires, escaped from Kraken time, and she has her son Francesco played by Alex Price. Those two did so well, they're terrifying. Lucian Msamati plays Guido, who's a Venetian shipbuilder and has a daughter Isabella played by Alicia Bailey, who got sent to Rosanna Calvieri's school. Saturnans are the name of the species that are alien sea creatures disguise themselves as vampires, and they're from the planet Saturnine, and I think they're pretty scary. Even in Doctor Who prom, Simon Gregor played Carlo, a human servant of Saturnans. So after Amy gets captured by Carlo, she gets strapped onto a chair in the dungeon, and the psychic paper didn't work on Rosanna, so she bit Amy. And Helen McCrory suggested that her character should hurt Amy at some point, so they did that, and I think it works effectively. So the Doctor came by saying, "Cab for Amy Pond." Isabella set Amy free and everyone made a run for it. Sadly, Isabella can go outside because the sunlight is burning her skin, so she gets taken away by the Saturnans. The Doctor tries to help her as the door is sealing, and she drops the torch. As he touched the metal, he got electric shock. And because of Isabella's betrayal, she's to be punished, and she thinks that they expect her to drown, but she can swim, but it wasn't that. She gets devoured by Rosanna's children. So then the Doctor sat on Rosanna's throne, so she explained the Doctor that they escaped from cracking time and space and ran away from Silence. What bothered the Doctor is that Isabella died without Rosanna knowing her name. So the Doctor left. The Doctor, Amy, Rory and Garrido has a brain-thinking meeting. Then Saturnines break in, so everyone got out except Garrido, who barricaded himself in with the Saturnines. So he uses a candle to light the explosive barrel which exploded the house. So now he's joined his daughter, and all the female vampires died except Rosanna obviously, as she created a deadly storm over Venice. So after the Doctor ordered Amy and Rory to the TARDIS, we get a hilarious fight scene between Rory and Francesco, especially when he called him SpongeBob, making a shape of a cross, telling him his mum is ugly, and Rory using a broom while Francesco is using a sword. After when he became his true form and jumped on Rory, Amy uses a mirror for sunlight to vaporize Francesco to death. So then they went to help the Doctor, and yes, the Doctor rants at them for not listening to him. However, he gets Amy and Rory to destroy the control hub in the throne room, while the Doctor climbs onto the church roof and he stops the mechanism and the weather turns normal. Hurrah! And you see the crack in space and time shape on the clouds. Sadly, Rosanna is devastated. The Doctor tried to reason with her, but she wanted him to remember her species, as they're extinct, so she jumped in the river and gets eaten by her sons as they don't recognise her in human form. So later, the Doctor, Amy and Rory arrived at the TARDIS. I think it's nice that Rory gets to travel with them. The Doctor noticed silence and empty street in Venice, as it was packed but now it's empty, and he remembers Rosanna saying the silence and the end of all things. Man, what an episode. Murray Gold's music is fantastic. Especially the bit where the Doctor climbs onto the church roof when they use that for a Christmas Carol trailer. This is a fantastic and scary episode. What did you think when you saw it? Did the alien vampire scare you all? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.